Psalm 103 exalts a sovereign creator who is the Lord of all. We are called to acknowledge him as Lord, the one who made us and the one to whom we belong. He defines us, not vice versa. He is ultimate, not us. He is the creator. We are the creatures. He is self-sufficient. We are dependent. He is the source of all life. We derive our breath from him. I love the way that Mr. Wax actually put this part where he's explaining exactly why this Bible verse is so offensive to the modern mind. And I gotta be honest with you guys, it does sound pretty offensive when you look at it from the context that society would put it, right? So let's take a look at why he says that this Bible verse is the most offensive Bible verse to the modern mind, right? Why is Psalm 103 offensive to the modern mind? Because it takes an axe to the root of one of our society's tallest and most twisted trees. The notion that we alone are responsible for making or remaking ourselves, and that we must make our own meaning and decide upon our own truth. How often do we hear that in our society today, right? You gotta live your truth, right? Walk in your truth. Psalm 103 exalts a sovereign creator who is the Lord of all. We are called to acknowledge him as Lord, the one who made us and the one to whom we belong. He defines us, not vice versa. He is ultimate, not us. He is the creator. We are the creatures. He is self-sufficient. We are dependent. He is the source of all life. We derive our breath from him. I love the way that Mr. Wax actually put this part where he's explaining exactly why this Bible verse is so offensive to the modern mind. And I gotta be honest with you guys, it does sound pretty offensive when you look at it from the context that society would put it, right? It's one of the tallest twisted trees, right? You gotta walk in your own truth. You can recreate yourself. You can make yourself, right? Self-made man, self-made woman, right? And what he's explaining here is that based off what culture and society says, this is by far the most offensive Bible verse, because as far as we know and as far as we live today, we create our own truth, right? We make ourselves. Like, no one else makes us. We don't belong to anyone except ourselves. So when I really read the entire article and where he was going with it, I definitely saw why this Bible verse would be a Bible verse that is one of the most offensive Bible verses to the modern mind. But let's talk about why the Bible offended me so much, right? That commingles with what Mr. Wax is talking about here. Ultimately, the Bible was so offensive to me because I didn't understand it, right? I went only off the things that I heard about the Bible without reading it for myself. Therefore, drawing conclusions simply from my own life experiences, right? Which at certain points in my life was not very much life experience, right? And the problem with that was that I would draw my own conclusions about the Bible, my own conclusions about God, but mainly about the Bible. And some of those conclusions were what? It's old, it's irrelevant, it's out of date, right? Now, I would say these things because, of course, I would be thinking like, dude, if you're gonna try to school me or mentor me or give me a way to live my life, like give me something relevant, right? Give me something that's going on in the here and now. What we don't realize is that God is in the here and now, right? I thought these ways before I knew Hebrews 13 chapter 8, right? Before I knew Hebrews chapter 13 verse 8, right? Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Before I knew that Bible verse, you couldn't tell me that the Bible was relevant in any way, shape, or form. I mean, let's be honest. One of the most reasons why the Bible bothered me so much is because that thing is old as heck, right? It's like, when you think about the Bible, you're like, okay, so you're trying to school me about something going on in my life today, but you want me to read like a 2,000 plus year old book. Like, how is this relevant? How is this supposed to help me? And that is how most of us think. And that is exactly the way that I thought. But I'm going to be honest with you guys. Pastor Roy Dockery, and shout out to Pastor Roy Dockery. Go check his channel out. Pastor Roy usually does things like the Savage News or Ask Pastor Roy, or he simply just does great talks. And I usually wear a shirt that he sent me called Make Racism Illegal. That shirt is super awesome. I wear it to church, not to offend people, but I do go to a predominantly white church, which I do love dearly. I just realized how much racism is not talked about in the church. So yeah, when I wear my shirt, always great conversations happen in the church, and I love to be able to be a witness to that and be a part of that. So Pastor Roy breaks this down pretty awesome, right? He always says, don't judge Jesus Christ by Christians, judge Christ by Christ, right? And I believe this. Jesus Christ can interpret himself. The Bible interprets himself. His word interprets itself, right? So the Bible interprets itself. His word interprets itself. So you guys don't need to judge Jesus by Christians or by what you see other Christians doing. Yes, they should be setting an example, but ultimately grab the Bible, read the Bible, and get to know the character of Jesus Christ for yourself, right? The Bible interprets Jesus for you, right? You want to know where to start? Start in the 4 Gospels. That's a great place to start at for someone who wants to learn about Jesus Christ. Out of all 4, which one should you start at? Most people say the Gospel of John. Like, I can subscribe to that. The Gospel of John is pretty good. You know, it's a pretty great place to start off as far as like a great perspective of Jesus Christ, because John comes with an awesome perspective. But I mean, ultimately, guys, when I wasn't seeking Christ for myself, I didn't want to be bothered with the Bible because it didn't make sense to me. Clearly the Bible has existed long before Shakespeare, but I read many books of Shakespeare in school, but I hadn't fully read the Bible yet. That's why the question, why does it sound like Shakespeare, would come to me. And you know what? I've said this question out loud to so many people, it's resonated with them. So don't be so quick to think that the Bible, you know, just bothers you or you're the only person that doesn't understand it. This book drove me nuts for many years, especially when I decided to be like 8 or 9 and pick it up and read Revelation just because my mom taught me how to search things, right? So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I enjoyed this moment of transparency with you guys. I always try to be super transparent with you guys, but I wanted to share with you guys why the Bible bothered me. I mean, a lot of people who are in my life right now, they wouldn't even think that the Bible ever bothered me or talking about God ever bothered me. But the Bible was extremely offensive to me at one point. And that's ultimately because it causes us to change, right? It calls us out of the life that we're currently living to change some things, right? It doesn't want us to stay prideful, right? God doesn't want us to stay selfish, right? God doesn't want us to stay rude and not love our neighbors, right? So that's the reason why the Bible is so offensive, right? God doesn't want us to think we could just recreate ourselves and we're fully in control of our own destiny and we make or break ourselves and control everything that happens, because It's simply not true. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. You got something from this. Share this video with anyone who has questions about the Bible. You know, not that it's super educational, but, you know, like, is there anyone who, like, maybe loves the Bible right now, or is a pastor, or is a Christian influencer in any way, and they didn't always love the Bible? Share this video with someone who, you know, it will benefit them. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll be back with another one. What do I always say, guys? Take care of yourselves, love one another, but most of all, love God. Peace.